Hello there, and welcome to Theta Dream. Tonight, we're going to descend slowly, gently beneath the waves, and into the quiet world that lies under the ocean. From the sunlit surface where light dances through the water, to the deep places where life flows with its own gentle light, we'll drift through waters that are calm, soothing, and endlessly fascinating. You don't need to remember every detail you hear. These are simply stories the ocean tells, whispers of a world that moves in slow rhythms, where everything floats weightlessly and peacefully. Let these facts wash over you like gentle currents, carrying you toward rest. If you enjoy this journey, consider liking and subscribing, or sharing your thoughts in the comments. It helps others find their way here too. But for now, all you need to do is breathe slowly, let your body settle, and imagine yourself floating softly in the calm embrace of the sea. Now, if you're ready, let's begin our descent into tranquility. The ocean covers more than 70% of Earth's surface. When you look at our planet from space, it appears blue, wrapped in vast expanses of water that stretch across most of the globe. The ocean is not one sea, but many, connected into a single great body that touches every continent. These waters hold mysteries we're only beginning to understand, depths we've barely explored, and life in forms both beautiful and strange. To think of the ocean is to realize that most of our world is water, quiet, vast, and largely unknown. Sunlight can only penetrate about 200 meters deep. The ocean is divided into layers, and the top layer, called the sunlit zone or epipelagic zone, is where light can still reach. Here, in these bright, shallow waters, life thrives. Photosynthesis happens, plants grow, and fish dart through beams of filtered sunlight. But below 200 meters, the light begins to fade. The deeper you go, the darker it becomes, until eventually no sunlight reaches at all. The ocean holds layers within layers, each one quieter and stranger than the last. Waves are created by wind passing over the water's surface. Every wave you see rolling toward a beach began somewhere far out at sea, born when wind dragged across the surface of the water. The stronger the wind and the longer it blows, the larger the waves become. Waves can travel thousands of miles across the ocean, carrying energy from distant storms to peaceful shores. They're the ocean's breath, rising and falling in endless rhythm, patient and persistent. The ocean's surface is always in motion. Even on the calmest days, the sea is never truly still. Currents flow beneath the surface, tides rise and fall with the pull of the moon, and tiny ripples spread from the movements of fish and wind. The ocean breathes, shifts, and changes constantly. This motion is soothing in its predictability. The sea has rhythms older than human memory, patterns that repeat day after day, year after year, steady as a heartbeat. Tides are caused by the gravitational pull of the moon. Twice a day, the ocean rises up onto shores and then retreats, pulled by the moon's gravity as it orbits Earth. This creates high tides and low tides, a rhythm that countless creatures depend upon for survival. The moon and ocean are locked in an ancient dance, one pulling, the other responding. To watch the tide come in is to see the influence of distant bodies, proof that even separated by space, the universe touches itself. The ocean produces between 50 and 80% of Earth's oxygen. While we often think of forests as the lungs of our planet, the ocean plays an even greater role. Tiny organisms called phytoplankton, floating near the surface in numbers beyond counting, perform photosynthesis and release oxygen into the atmosphere. These microscopic plants are so abundant that together they produce more oxygen than all the world's forests combined. Scientists estimate they contribute anywhere from 50 to 80% of the oxygen in our atmosphere. Every other breath you take comes from the sea, a quiet gift from creatures too small to see, working tirelessly beneath the waves. Coral reefs are among the most diverse ecosystems on Earth. Though they cover less than 1% of the ocean floor, coral reefs are home to roughly a quarter of all marine species. These underwater gardens are built by tiny animals called coral polyps, which secrete calcium carbonate to form hard structures. Over thousands of years, these structures grow into vast reefs, cities of color and life. To see a coral reef is to witness cooperation on a grand scale, countless organisms living together in balance. Coral reefs are actually colonies of tiny living animals. Each coral formation is not a single creature, but thousands or even millions of individual polyps working together. They are connected, sharing nutrients and building their calcium homes side by side. At night, the polyps extend their tentacles to feed, transforming the reef into a garden of waving arms. During the day, they retract and the reef appears solid and still. They are animals that resemble plants, architects that build without tools. Some fish can change their gender during their lifetime. In the ocean, life is flexible in ways that surprise us. Many fish species, including clownfish and parrotfish, can change from male to female or female to male, depending on social and environmental conditions. This ability helps ensure reproduction continues even when males or females are scarce. The ocean teaches us that nature finds ways to adapt, to survive, to continue even in changing circumstances. Sea turtles can hold their breath for hours while resting. While we might struggle to hold our breath for even a minute, sea turtles are masters of breath control. When resting or sleeping underwater, some species can stay submerged for 4 to 7 hours without needing to surface for air, their metabolism slowing to a peaceful, meditative state. They are creatures of two worlds, air and water, moving between them with ancient grace. Dolphins sleep with only half of their brain at a time. Dolphins must remain conscious even while resting because they need to surface regularly to breathe. To solve this, they sleep with one half of their brain while the other half stays awake, keeping them aware and able to breathe. The two halves take turns, allowing the dolphin to rest while never fully losing consciousness. It's a form of sleep we cannot imagine, a rest that is never complete, but always enough. The ocean is home to the largest animal ever known to exist. The blue whale, which can grow to over 100 feet long and weigh as much as 200 tons, is not only the largest animal alive today, but the largest animal ever to have existed on Earth, larger even than the biggest dinosaurs. Despite their size, blue whales feed on some of the ocean's smallest creatures, tiny shrimp-like animals called krill. They are gentle giants, moving through the sea with surprising grace, their songs traveling hundreds of miles underwater. Below 200 meters, we enter the twilight zone. As we descend beyond the reach of sunlight, we enter the mesopelagic zone, also called the twilight zone. Here, only the faintest glimmers of light filter down from above, creating a world of shadows and dim blue hues. This zone extends from about 200 to 1,000 meters deep. It's a place of transition where the familiar gives way to the strange, where creatures begin to look different from anything near the surface. Many creatures here can produce their own light. In the twilight zone, where sunlight barely reaches, many animals have evolved the ability to create their own light through a process called bioluminescence. Chemical reactions within their bodies produce glowing patterns, flashes, and steady glows. This light serves many purposes: attracting prey, communicating with others, confusing predators, or lighting the way through darkness. The twilight zone sparkles with living lights, a constellation beneath the waves. Bioluminescence is created by chemical reactions in the body. The glow comes from a chemical called luciferin, reacting with oxygen, catalyzed by an enzyme called luciferase. The result is light without heat, a cold glow that can be blue, green, or even red. Different species have evolved this ability independently, finding their own chemical paths to illumination. The ocean teaches us that where there is darkness, life finds ways to create light. Some jellyfish can glow in beautiful patterns. Jellyfish drift through the twilight zone like ghosts, their translucent bodies pulsing gently as they move. Many species produce bioluminescent light, creating ethereal displays of blue or green that ripple across their bells. When disturbed, they may flash brightly, a warning or a distraction. To see a glowing jellyfish in the dark is to witness something both alien and beautiful, a creature that seems to have drifted from dreams. The giant squid has eyes as large as dinner plates. In the dim twilight zone, vision becomes crucial. The giant squid has evolved the largest eyes in the animal kingdom, each one nearly the size of a human head. With these enormous eyes, they can gather as much light as possible from the faint glow filtering from above. With these eyes, they can detect the silhouettes of predators or prey from great distances. They are rarely seen, living most of their lives in darkness, mysterious and elusive. Sperm whales dive deep to hunt giant squid. Sperm whales are champion divers, capable of descending over 2,000 meters into the dark ocean to hunt their prey. In these depths, they hunt giant squid, engaging in battles we can only imagine. When they return to the surface, they sometimes bear circular scars, evidence of the squid's struggle, marks from their powerful suckers. Many twilight zone fish have large eyes to capture faint light. As light fades, eyes grow larger. Many fish in the twilight zone have developed oversized eyes, sometimes taking up most of their head, to collect as much light as possible from the dim environment. These eyes are often upward-facing, watching for the silhouettes of prey or predators against the faint glow from above. They are creatures adapted to scarcity, making the most of the little light available. Some fish here have transparent bodies. To avoid being seen by predators, some twilight zone fish have evolved nearly transparent bodies. Their flesh, organs, and even bones are see-through, making them almost invisible in the water. Only their eyes remain visible, dark spots floating in the blue. They are ghosts in the bloom, present but barely perceivable, masters of camouflage through absence. The twilight zone is the ocean's largest ecosystem by volume. Though we rarely see it, the twilight zone is vast, containing more space and possibly more fish biomass than any other ocean layer. It's estimated that billions of tons of fish live in this dim realm. Each night, many of these creatures migrate upward toward the surface to feed, then descend again before dawn. This daily migration is one of the largest movements of animals on Earth, happening unseen beneath the waves. Lanternfish are among the most abundant fish on Earth. These small fish, usually just a few inches long, have rows of bioluminescent organs along their bodies that glow in patterns unique to each species. There may be more lanternfish in the ocean than any other type of fish. Though we rarely encounter them, they form a crucial part of the ocean's food web, feeding larger predators and moving nutrients between different ocean layers. They're the unseen multitude, the foundation of deep-sea life. Pressure increases dramatically with depth. For every 10 meters you descend in the ocean, pressure increases by 1 atmosphere. At 200 meters deep, it's 20 times what it is at the surface. At 1,000 meters, it's 100 times greater. This crushing pressure would be lethal to humans without protection, but deep-sea creatures have evolved to thrive in it. Their bodies are adapted, with no airspaces that could collapse. To them, this pressure is normal, comfortable even. Many deep-sea creatures have soft, gelatinous bodies. Without rigid skeletons or gas-filled swim bladders that could be crushed, many Twilight Zone animals have soft, flexible bodies. They're often described as gelatinous, more like living jelly than firm, fleshed fish we're used to. This softness is an adaptation, allowing their bodies to equalize with the surrounding pressure. They drift more than swim, conserving energy in a place where food is scarce. Below 1,000 meters, we enter complete darkness. At depths beyond 1,000 meters, we cross into the bathypelagic zone, known as the midnight zone. Here, no sunlight penetrates at all. The darkness is absolute, unbroken except for the occasional flash of bioluminescence. This zone extends down to about 4,000 meters. It's a world of permanent night, where eyes become less important and other senses take over. It's cold, dark, and quiet, a place of deep calm. The water here is near freezing, hovering around 2 to 4 degrees Celsius. In the midnight zone, the temperature drops close to freezing. The water is cold and still, barely moving. Without sunlight to warm it, the deep ocean maintains a constant chill. Creatures here have adapted to the cold, their metabolism slowed, their movements deliberate and energy efficient. They live in a world where warmth is rare and stillness is the norm. Anglerfish use glowing lures to attract prey in the gentlest way. One of the most fascinating Twilight Zone creatures is the anglerfish, with its distinctive bioluminescent lure dangling from a modified dorsal spine. The lure contains light-producing bacteria that glow softly in the darkness, like a tiny lantern in the deep. Small fish and crustaceans, drawn to this gentle light in the darkness, swim closer to investigate. The anglerfish waits patiently, barely moving, letting prey come to it, a strategy perfectly suited for conserving energy in a place where meals are rare. It's a peaceful kind of hunting, requiring only patience and a small, steady light. Male anglerfish form permanent partnerships with females. In one of nature's most remarkable arrangements, male anglerfish are much smaller than females, sometimes 100 times smaller, and lack the distinctive glowing lure. When a tiny male finds a female in the vast darkness, he attaches to her body by biting gently. Over time, his tissues gradually fuse with hers in a process called sexual parasitism. He provides reproductive cells while she provides nutrients, creating a permanent partnership. In the vast, dark ocean, where finding a mate might otherwise be nearly impossible, this ensures they can reproduce. It's an extreme adaptation, but also a form of devotion. Once found, they never part. Vampire squid are neither squid nor octopus, but something in between. Despite its frightening name, the vampire squid is a gentle creature feeding on marine snow, the debris that drifts down from above. Its scientific name means vampire squid from hell, but it's actually quite harmless. It has features of both squids and octopuses, representing an ancient lineage. When threatened, it turns itself inside out, displaying spiny projections and bioluminescent lights to confuse predators. Then it drifts away into the safety of darkness. In the depths, there lives a creature rarely seen, almost ghostly in appearance. Far below, in the midnight zone and beyond, dwells one of the ocean's most mysterious residents, the big fin squid. Few people have ever seen one alive. They exist at depths between 1,000 and 5,000 meters, drifting through the darkness like living phantoms. What makes them remarkable are their arms and tentacles, impossibly long and thread-like, extending up to 8 meters. That's over 26 feet, trailing beneath their small bodies like delicate ribbons in the current. The big fin squid moves through darkness with extraordinary grace. Imagine a small body, no larger than a melon, floating peacefully in the black water. From it extend these impossibly long, thin appendages held in strange angles, sometimes forming elbows, sometimes stretching straight down into the abyss. They don't swim actively like other squid. Instead, they hover, almost motionless, their long arms extended below them like the strands of some deep-sea jellyfish. They are patient hunters, waiting for tiny crustaceans and other small prey to brush against those long, sensitive arms. Scientists have encountered them only through deep-sea cameras. The first footage of a big fin squid was captured in 1988 by a remotely operated vehicle exploring the ocean depths. Since then, only a handful of sightings have been recorded. Each time, the cameras reveal the same eerie sight, those impossibly long arms drifting in formations that seem almost alien. No one has ever caught a live adult specimen. No one has seen them up close. They remain mysteries, only known through distant video, grainy images captured by machines visiting a world humans can never reach. Their arms may be the longest of any squid relative to body size. While giant squid grow larger overall, the big fin squid's arms are extraordinarily long compared to its small body, possibly the longest arm-to-body ratio of any cephalopod. These arms aren't muscular like those of hunting squid. They're thin, delicate, trailing. Scientists believe they use these arms as living fishing lines, letting them drift in the current, covered in sticky filaments that trap small creatures floating by. It's a passive hunting strategy, perfect for a place where food is scarce and energy must be conserved. The big fin squid doesn't rush. It doesn't chase. It simply exists in the quiet darkness, arms extended, body barely moving, waiting with infinite patience for the ocean to bring it food. There's something deeply peaceful about this creature. In a world without light, without seasons, without day or night, it has found its place. It asks for nothing, hurries toward nothing, exists in a state of pure, patient being. They remind us that the ocean still holds secrets. Every time a big fin squid appears on camera, scientists learn something new, yet questions remain. How many species are there? How do they reproduce? How long do they live? What do their young look like? The big fin squid is a reminder that even now, in our age of technology and exploration, the ocean keeps its secrets close. There are creatures we've barely glimpsed, lives we cannot fully understand, beauty that exists far beyond our reach. Many deep-sea creatures feed on marine snow. Marine snow is the constant rain of organic material falling from the upper ocean, dead plankton, feces, and mucus, and other debris. To creatures in the midnight zone, this falling matter is like manna from above, the primary source of food. They wait with mouths open or trailing long appendages to catch particles as they drift past. Life in the deep is patient, waiting for food to come rather than hunting actively. Deep-sea creatures have evolved elegant adaptations for finding food. With food so scarce in the midnight zone, creatures have evolved remarkable ways to make sure no meal is missed. Some fish have developed hinged jaws that can open extraordinarily wide, allowing them to consume prey larger than themselves when the rare opportunity arises. The gulper eel, for instance, has a mouth that opens like a pelican's pouch, expandable and ready. These adaptations aren't aggressive. They're simply efficient, elegant solutions to the challenge of surviving where food arrives rarely and unpredictably. Every creature here has learned patience, waiting calmly in the dark for sustenance to drift by. Bar-eye fish have transparent heads with tubular eyes. One of the strangest fish in the midnight zone is the bar-eye, which has a transparent, fluid-filled head. Inside this clear dome, its tubular eyes point upward, looking for the silhouettes of prey against the faint light from above. The fish can rotate its eyes forward when feeding, all while they remain protected inside its transparent skull. It's an adaptation so unusual it seems imagined, yet it works perfectly in the darkness. Creatures here have slow metabolisms to conserve energy. With food scarce and temperatures cold, midnight zone creatures have evolved to live life in slow motion. Their metabolisms are extremely slow, meaning they need very little food to survive. They move slowly, grow slowly, and live long lives. A fish that might live 5 years near the surface could live 50 years or more in the midnight zone. Time moves differently in the deep. Some deep-sea fish can live for over 100 years. The orange roughy, a deep-sea fish, can live for more than 150 years. Growing slowly and reproducing late in life, these fish are adapted for a world where patience is survival. The deep ocean is a place of longevity, where creatures persist quietly through decades, unchanging and enduring. They are living proof that life doesn't need to be fast to be successful. Giant isopods are like enormous pillbugs of the deep. Related to the pillbugs or roly-polies you might find in your garden, giant isopods can grow to over a foot long. They scuttle along the ocean floor in the midnight zone, scavenging whatever food they can find. They can survive for years without eating, living off their fat reserves during long periods of famine. When food does appear, like a whale carcass falling from above, they feast, storing energy for the lean times ahead. Hagfish can tie themselves in knots. Hagfish are primitive, jawless fish that feed on dead or dying animals. When threatened or when feeding on a carcass, they can tie their boneless bodies into knots, using the leverage to tear off chunks of flesh or to escape from predators. They also produce enormous amounts of slime when threatened, clogging the gills of any fish that tries to eat them. They are survivors, using unusual tactics to thrive in a challenging environment. Below 4,000 meters lie the abyssal plains. The abyssal zone extends from about 4,000 to 6,000 meters deep. Here, we find the abyssal plains, vast, flat regions of the ocean floor covered in fine sediment. These plains are some of the flattest places on Earth, stretching for thousands of miles with barely any variation in elevation. They are deserts of mud, quiet, dark, and seemingly empty, yet life persists even here. The abyssal plains are the largest habitat on Earth. Covering more than 50% of the planet's surface, the abyssal plains are Earth's largest ecosystem, yet they remain largely unexplored, visited humans fewer times than we've visited the moon. They are remote, difficult to reach, and vast beyond imagining. What life exists there remains mostly mysterious, known only from brief glimpses captured by deep-sea submersibles and cameras. The pressure here is crushing. over 400 times surface pressure. At abyssal depths, the pressure is so intense it would crush most human-made objects instantly. Submarines must be specially designed with thick walls to withstand these forces. Yet creatures living here feel no discomfort. Their bodies have no air spaces and are filled with incompressible fluids. To them, this pressure is normal, no different than the air pressure feels to us on land. Tripod fish stand on the ocean floor using elongated fins. Some abyssal fish have evolved unusually long, stilt-like fins that they use to prop themselves up off the muddy bottom. They stand motionless, facing into gentle currents, waiting for food particles to drift into their mouths. This energy-efficient strategy allows them to feed without swimming. They are patient hunters, shaped by an environment where movement costs energy they cannot afford to waste. Sea cucumbers plow through the mud, eating sediment. On the abyssal plains, sea cucumbers crawl slowly across the ocean floor, consuming mud and sediment as they go. They digest the organic material mixed in with the mud and excrete the rest. They are the ocean's earthworms, processors of sediment, turning over the mud in slow motion. Their trails can be seen in photographs of the deep sea floor, evidence of life persisting in apparent emptiness. Glass sponges can live for thousands of years. Some of the oldest living animals on Earth are glass sponges living in the deep ocean. Their silica skeletons grow slowly, accumulating over centuries. Some specimens are estimated to be over 10,000 years old. They have been alive since the end of the Ice Age, filtering tiny particles from the water, growing imperceptibly, enduring through millennia. They are living links to the ancient past. Xenophyophores are among Earth's largest single-celled organisms. These strange creatures look like clumps of organic matter scattered on the seafloor, but they are actually single-celled organisms that can grow to several inches across. They build tests, or shells, from surrounding sediment. Despite being just one cell, they can be among the most abundant life forms on the abyssal plains. They remind us that size doesn't require complexity, that even a single cell can become surprisingly large. Dumbo octopuses flap their ear-like fins to swim. Named for their resemblance to Disney's flying elephant, Dumbo octopuses have fin-like structures on their heads that they flap to propel themselves through the water. They hover just above the seafloor, searching for worms and crustaceans. They are among the deepest living octopuses, found at depths of up to 7,000 meters. They are gentle creatures, drifting gracefully through the darkness, surprisingly delicate for a place so extreme. Many abyssal creatures are blind or have reduced eyes. In the total darkness of the abyss, eyes become less useful. Many creatures here have lost their eyes entirely or have only simple light-sensitive patches that can detect bioluminescence. Other senses become more important: touch, chemical detection, and the ability to sense vibrations in the water. The deep ocean is a world experienced differently than ours, shaped by senses we barely understand. Food is so scarce that creatures have adapted to eat anything. In the abyss, food arrives rarely and unpredictably. When a whale carcass sinks from above, it becomes an oasis of nutrition, attracting scavengers from miles around. Creatures here have evolved to eat whatever they encounter: marine snow, sediment, carrion, even wooden debris. Their digestive systems are versatile, capable of extracting nutrition from almost anything. Zombie worms bore into bones to extract nutrients. Osedacs, known as zombie worms, are specialized to feed on the bones of dead whales. They have no mouth or stomach, instead hosting bacteria that digest the bone's fats and oils. The worms then absorb nutrients produced by the bacteria. They can reduce a whalebone to powder over several years, extracting every bit of available energy. Nothing goes to waste in the deep. Whale falls create deep-sea oases that last for decades. When a whale dies and sinks to the ocean floor, its carcass can sustain a complex community of organisms for 50 years or more. The process happens in stages. First, scavengers arrive to eat the flesh. Then, creatures arrive to consume bones and oil. These whale falls are islands of abundance in the food-poor abyss, supporting species found nowhere else. They are proof that even in death, whales give life. Below 6,000 meters, we enter the deepest ocean, the Hadal Zone. Named after Hades, the Greek underworld, the Hadal Zone encompasses the ocean's deepest trenches. These are the deepest places on Earth, plunging down to nearly 11,000 meters. Few creatures live here. The pressure is over 1,000 times surface pressure. The darkness is absolute. Yet life persists even in these most extreme conditions. The Mariana Trench reaches depths of nearly 11,000 meters. Located in the western Pacific Ocean, the Mariana Trench's deepest point, called Challenger Deep, reaches down 10,984 meters. That's 36,037 feet, or nearly 7 miles below the ocean surface. If Mount Everest, Earth's tallest mountain, at 8,849 meters, were placed in Challenger Deep, its peak would still be over 2,000 meters, or more than a mile, underwater. It's the deepest natural point on our planet's surface, a place of peaceful extremes where the ocean reaches its greatest depth. Only 4 people have descended to Challenger Deep. In 1960, 2 explorers made the first descent. More than 50 years later, filmmaker James Cameron became the 3rd person to reach the bottom. A few others have followed since, but it remains one of Earth's least visited places. More people have walked on the moon than have visited the deepest ocean. It's a reminder that our own planet still holds unexplored frontiers, mysteries in our own backyard. The pressure at the bottom would crush most submarines. At Challenger Deep, the pressure is approximately 1,086 bars, or over 15,000 pounds per square inch. This is enough to crush conventional submarines like tin cans. Only specially designed submersibles with extremely thick hulls can withstand these pressures. Yet, despite this, life exists, adapted in ways that make this crushing force feel normal. Snailfish hold the record for the deepest living fish. In 2017, scientists filmed a snailfish swimming at a depth of 8,178 meters in the Mariana Trench. It's the deepest fish ever recorded on video. Snailfish have soft, gelatinous bodies with minimal bones, allowing them to withstand the incredible pressure. They feed on tiny crustaceans and represent life's ability to adapt to even the harshest conditions. Amphipods in trenches can grow surprisingly large. Amphipods, typically shrimp-like creatures only a few centimeters long, can grow to over 30 centimeters in the Hadal Zone. These giant amphipods scavenge on the ocean floor, feeding on whatever organic material reaches such depths. Scientists aren't entirely sure why they grow so large. It may be due to longer lifespans, cold temperatures, or lack of predators. They are curiosities of the deep, larger than they should be. Some Hadal trenches contain unique species found nowhere else. Each trench is isolated from the others by thousands of meters of shallower water, creating separate evolutionary laboratories. Species evolve independently in each trench, resulting in unique creatures found nowhere else on Earth. The Hadal Zone is not one environment, but many, each trench a separate world with its own residents, its own rules. Microorganisms thrive even in the deepest trenches. Bacteria and archaea, microscopic single-celled organisms, are abundant in hadal sediments. They break down organic matter and form the base of the food web, even at these extreme depths. Some of these microorganisms are extremophiles, capable of surviving pressures, temperatures, and chemical conditions that would kill most life. They remind us that life's boundaries are wider than we imagine. Hydrothermal vents create warm oases of life in the deep. In certain places on the ocean floor, cracks in Earth's crust allow heated water to pour out, loaded with dissolved minerals and chemicals. These hydrothermal vents release water that has been warmed by the planet's interior, creating underwater hot springs that can reach temperatures of 60 to 400 degrees Celsius. Around these warm vents, entire ecosystems thrive independent of sunlight. They derive energy not from photosynthesis, but from chemosynthesis, bacteria that convert chemicals like hydrogen sulfide into energy. Life here doesn't need the sun. It has found another way, powered by Earth's own warmth, creating pockets of abundance in the deep. Giant tube worms grow near hydrothermal vents. These remarkable creatures can grow up to 8 feet long. They have no mouth, no digestive system, and no way to eat. Instead, they host bacteria inside their bodies that convert chemicals from the vent into energy. The tube worms provide the bacteria with a safe home and access to chemicals, while the bacteria provide the worms with nutrition. It's a partnership so complete that neither can survive without the other. Vent crabs and shrimp are specially adapted to extreme heat. Near hydrothermal vents, white crabs and eyeless shrimp cluster in masses, feeding on bacteria and organic matter. The shrimp have evolved light-sensitive patches on their backs to detect the faint glow of wet water. They live in a world of heat and chemicals that would be toxic to most life, yet they thrive. They are proof that where we see hostility, life sees opportunity. Some bacteria can survive in water above the boiling point. Hyperthermophilic bacteria found near vents can survive and reproduce in water temperatures exceeding 100 degrees Celsius. Their proteins and cell structures are adapted to remain stable at temperatures that would cook most organisms. These bacteria expand our understanding of life's limits. If life can exist here, perhaps it can exist in equally extreme environments elsewhere in the universe. The deep ocean is largely unexplored. Despite covering most of Earth's surface, we've explored less than 5% of the ocean. Most of the seafloor has never been seen by human eyes, never been mapped in detail. There are likely thousands of species yet to be discovered, ecosystems we don't know exist, and mysteries waiting in the darkness. The ocean remains Earth's last frontier, vast and largely unknown. The ocean is always moving, even in the deepest trenches. Though it may seem still, the ocean is constantly in motion. Currents flow, both at the surface and in the depths. Tides pull water back and forth. Even small temperature differences create movement. This motion connects all parts of the ocean, carrying heat, nutrients, and life from one region to another. The ocean is one continuous body, breathing and flowing like a living thing. The ocean has absorbed much of the excess heat from climate change. Over the past century, the ocean has absorbed more than 90% of the extra heat trapped by greenhouse gases. This has slowed the warming of the atmosphere, but at a cost to marine ecosystems. Warmer waters affect everything from coral health to fish migration patterns. The ocean gives much to us, absorbing heat and producing oxygen, asking little in return. It deserves our care. We are all connected to the ocean, even far inland. Rain that falls on mountains comes from ocean evaporation. Rivers carry water back to the sea. The oxygen in every breath we take comes partly from marine phytoplankton. The ocean influences weather patterns worldwide. Even if you've never seen the ocean, you are connected to it. It touches every life on Earth, shaping our climate, our air, our water. We are all children of the sea. The sound of waves can lower heart rate and reduce stress. There's a reason the ocean feels calming. The rhythmic sound of waves, the negative ions in sea air, and the vast open horizon all have measurable effects on our nervous system. Listening to ocean sounds, even recorded ones, can trigger a relaxation response. The sea calls to something ancient in us, a memory, perhaps, of life's ocean origins. Every drop of water in the ocean has been part of the water cycle for billions of years. The water in the ocean today has been circulating through Earth's systems for eons. It has evaporated and rained, frozen and melted, been drunk by dinosaurs and ancient fish, risen as mist and fallen as snow. You are connected to this ancient cycle. The water you drank today was once in the ocean, will return to the ocean, and will be ocean again. We are all part of Earth's water story. The ocean holds memories in its depths. Sediment on the ocean floor contains layers of history, volcanic ash from ancient eruptions, microfossils of creatures long extinct, dust from distant deserts carried on winds. Scientists study these layers to understand Earth's past climates, to read the story written in mud and stone. The ocean is an archive, keeping records of everything that has fallen into its embrace. In the silence of the deep, there is peace. Far below the surface, beyond the reach of storms and the noise of human activity, the ocean is quiet. The silence there is profound, broken only occasionally by the songs of whales or the clicks of hunting dolphins. It's a silence we rarely experience on land, a stillness that invites rest. To imagine that silence is to feel its calm, to let it settle over you like a gentle weight. You are made mostly of water. Your body is approximately 60% water. The salinity of your blood is close to that of seawater. The ocean is not just around us, but within us, in every cell. We carry the ocean wherever we go. When you rest tonight, you rest with the sea inside you, your internal tides rising and falling with your breath, your own small ocean finding peace. And so we've journeyed together from surface to depth, from sunlit shallows where dolphins play to the peaceful twilight zones where life glows with its own gentle light. We've met creatures adapted in beautiful ways, seen places of quiet wonder, and touched the edges of Earth's most calming mystery. The ocean is vast, but it can be understood slowly, one fact at a time, one gentle wave of knowledge after another. You don't need to remember everything you've heard tonight. What matters is the feeling it leaves, a sense of peace, a feeling of weightlessness, a connection to something larger and infinitely calm. As you drift towards sleep now, imagine yourself floating gently just beneath the surface, suspended in warm, comfortable water, supported completely. The ocean holds you with the softest embrace. There is no effort needed, no tension, only the gentle support of water that has cradled life since the very beginning. Let your breathing match the rhythm of waves, slow and steady, in and out, like tides that have been moving from billions of years. Let your body grow wonderfully heavy, relaxed and sinking softly into rest, like you're floating peacefully downward through layers of the softest blue. If you enjoyed this journey beneath the waves, consider liking and subscribing, or sharing this with someone who loves the ocean or simply needs peaceful rest. But all of that can wait for tomorrow. Right now, just rest. Close your eyes if they're not closed already. Feel yourself floating, supported, safe. Breathe with the gentle rhythm of the sea and let the quiet, peaceful depths of sleep welcome you home. The ocean is always there, vast and patient, holding its mysteries and its peace. And tonight, it holds you too, in the gentlest way. Rest now, ocean traveler. Let the waves of sleep carry you softly away. Good night. May your dreams be as deep, as peaceful, and as endlessly calm as the sea.